Well, I don't know if you heard this news, but Democrats panic as Republicans celebrate mayoral win in town that is 85% Latino. We're in big trouble. Comes from the Daily Wire right here, but I've seen it in several other areas. And it goes, Democrats were stunned over the results of a mayoral race in South Texas over the weekend after the town elected a former chairman of a local county-level Republican party. Republicans celebrated. Javier Villalobos, his narrow win in the mayor's race in McAllen, Texas on Saturday, even though the race is technically nonpartisan. He's an attorney, was appointed by the Prepaid Higher Education Tuition Board by Abbott in 2018 and is a former chair of the Hidalgo County GOP. The election comes as the U.S. southern border has been flooded with illegal aliens under Democrat President Joe Biden. Yeah, he's been saying there's no crisis. He tapped Vice President Kamala Harris to lead the response on the border crisis, yet she hasn't visited the border and hasn't held a news conference about the border crisis. In fact, there was one thing that she said, visiting the border was not her part of solving the problem. I mean, she's supposed to be the head of response to it, and that's not part of our problem. The winner said, "Let me start by thanking the voters, my team, my family, and everyone who helped run this campaign. Thank you, McAllen, for trusting and believing me. I promise I will not let you down." Greg Abbott congratulated him on Twitter. He's a proven leader who cares deeply about the people of the Rio Grande Valley. Congratulations on becoming the next mayor. Republicans and Hispanics in Texas share common values, and more Hispanics are voting Republican and getting elected as Republicans. Abbott later added, "They want to help keep Texas red." Now, you actually won't hear me say anything about keeping a state red or blue. I'm a firm believer in let's elect the best person. Many times for presidency, I'll do a little grid and write things down. Generally speaking, Republicans do come out better on the grid. All right, here's the tweet for the celebration. For the congratulations. He beat Veronica Whitaker by a couple hundred votes in the election, so there will probably be a recount, and wouldn't be surprised if magically about 500 new votes come for her. So we'll see. But the surprising thing, even if a recount is done and the votes turn for her, no, they voted for Hillary Clinton by more than 40 percentage points in 2016 and went to Biden by 17 points. The fact that it's technically even now should scare Democrats. No, this is an area that's 85% Hispanic. It should be a lockdown for them, according to what you hear. McAllen, Texas is a border major town of 140,000 people, 85% Hispanic, and just elected a Republican mayor, former Trump campaign spokesman said. The macro realignment accelerates in South Texas and elsewhere. Hispanics rally to America first. Strong borders, economic nationalism, pro-police. I think he does hit on some things right here. Strong borders, economics, pro-police. That's one thing I'm really hearing, especially from just regular people. They do not like this anti-police attitude that the far left is pushing on the Democrats and that they're embracing. Now, they're like, crime is going up in many areas. Democrats are having a hard time understanding what's going on. People are getting angry. The police feel that the elected officials don't have their backs and they're leaving, and it's just a terrible thing right there. But going on, here's some Democrat response. This guy Sawyer Hackett, a GOP county chair, just won a mayor race for mayor of McAllen, Texas, a city that's 85% Latino. Hillary won the county by 40 points. If the Democratic Party doesn't get serious about Latino outreach, we're in big trouble. Here's another problem right here. Serious about Latino outreach. I didn't want to pull that on up. Democrats really have, over the past 20 years, just kind of gotten laissez-faire about the whole entire, we've got the minority vote. We don't have to do anything for them. They will automatically vote for us. And it's starting to, the minorities are starting to go, no, we've been voting for you for decades. Nothing's happening. No, it's time to, put up. Democratic John Mark Hall tweeted, "So Republicans won the McAllen and Fort Worth mayor races. Someone tell me again how we should stick with our current progressive message and strategy in Texas and not try to appeal to conservative moderate voters." This is another problem. The Democrats are full on tilt on the far left. They're pushing the far left stuff, and if you don't like it, they will call you a racist, sexist, anything to shut you up. RNC Deputy Communications Director Nathan Brand celebrated the victory, writing on Twitter, "Big win for Republicans tonight in border community. Biden's border crisis has real-world ramifications for communities across the country, especially in cities like McAllen." And I do think it does have some. At the same time, Republicans win. They have to do something. No, they can't. They can't just sit back and go, "Okay, we won," pat ourselves on the back and move on. You've got to start solving problems here. Another one, Ronna McDaniel. Big mayoral wins in Texas last night. In McAllen, we flipped the mayoral seat to Republican, while in Fort Worth, our turnout efforts ensured that a Republican won over a Texas Democrat. Both rightly rejected Biden and Harris's failed policies and voted for the GOP. Whether rejecting a crisis at the border or a squandered economic recovery, these municipalities moved decidedly toward the GOP because our policies work. Political analysts also took note of the victory. Not just Trump, heavily Hispanic McAllen, Texas flips from D to R. A Republican just won McAllen, Texas. Let that sink in. Yeah, sorry, no, for whatever reason, I'm just screwing up names here left and right. Sorry. If it bothers you, I apologize. Hispanic Republicans, especially women, have become something of political rock stars in South Texas after voters in the Rio Grande Valley shocked leaders in both parties in November by swinging sharply towards the GOP. The New York Times reported last month that conservative surge, and this one I disagree with this particular, the liberal decline. No, what you have is a far left, which is not liberal, a far left swing that the Democrats are embracing. And I guess you could say liberal decline a little bit because liberals are no longer in charge in the Democratic Party. They've buoyed the Republican Party's hopes about its ability to draw Hispanic voters into what's been long been an overwhelmingly white political coalition, and to challenge Democrats in heavily Latino regions across the country. Democrats are panicking across the country because they are losing the minority block that they've had for decades. I mean, I'm seeing more and more blacks, Hispanics, they're fed up with the Democratic lie. And I do think the internet, as all this type of stuff and been going on, they see more and more Democrats have promised stuff for years and years and years, and they're still in the same situation. Well, what do you think? Overall, I'll wait and see. it is a trend I'm seeing that Latinos, blacks, other groups are starting to slowly shift towards, maybe not towards Republicans, but they are no longer as in lockstep with Democrats as they were 20 years ago. And that does have the Democrats in a huge panic because they're losing that area. Let me know what you think. Are they losing it in your mind? Not losing it? Do we need a third party for these people? I don't know. Let me know. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, get new videos, and I'll see you next video.